I did not. This is not working. Don't worry about this. I barely made it. I'm still late. I'm still late. I realized that I like barely. Just so you know, 5 minutes ago, I had bleach in my hair. 5 minutes ago is when that happened. I was trying to restyle my Johannes wig and I was getting really upset. And then I was like, I'm just gonna dye it again. And I was like, it is 7. You have to go live in an hour. And I was like, I bet I can do it. So I was trying to see where's this dumbass hat. The rest of the cosplay is off. I had started the makeup, and then everything went downhill. I wanted to reshoot some of my Johannes content. And I did not do that because I was up doom scrolling until about 11 a.m. And so I did not wake up until about 3. What do you mean? What do you mean? You were there. You were getting the bulk of my deep dive. So dumb. So yeah, I didn't get done anything that I really wanted to. Okay, I thought you were like, sure. And I was like, you were there. You knew. I did not get more coffee before this started. It's okay, I have a lot of water. Anyway, I was looking forward to reshooting a lot of my Johannes content. It'll look better. And it was not looking the way that I needed it to, and I was getting frustrated. And I was like, I'm gonna dye my hair, and then I dyed my hair at 7. At 7. So I had bleach in my hair less than 10 minutes ago. Well, most of the time I try and keep it to myself. I don't like complaining about it too much. It's an ongoing issue that I don't. I feel like people are gonna get tired if they're like, "We get it. You don't know how to function properly," and I'm like, "Okay." So just shut up about it. Yeah, I hope that got you on the side of TikTok that you wanted. The memes, okay. But yeah, so my hair's still wet and I'm still experiencing problems. That is not. It's my. Sorry, I didn't even get a chance to like look at it. I legit booked it out of the shower, threw a shirt on, and came over here. So I didn't even get a chance to see what I had done. It's a little. It's okay. I have more bleed. I can touch it up later. I got back. Stupid. Okay. Anyway. I was in a big rush to get here. Glad I made it. How is everyone? Are we gonna do a hair dye live? Oh no, I was not. I was not planning on that. I have purple under my sink. I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna read people a bedtime story, but that was my plan. I didn't. I'm so tired. We could do joint hair dye. I don't know how much purple I have. In all honesty, I don't think I have enough to do my whole head. I'll just pull out whatever's under the sink. I don't think I have enough purple, and I'm pretty sure purple's the only color that's under there. And I would have to lift it a little bit more if I was gonna do purple. I was just doing blonde. It's not gonna come out purple unless I lift it again. And my hair is decently healthy enough. It doesn't feel that bad after washing it, but I'm sure I could probably only lift it one more time. I don't give me excuses. Don't give me excuses to do both. I'm like, I could lift it again, and yeah, and then I just no, no. I have a toner. I just don't have. I don't have enough purple to like do all that. I have a toner under the sink. Everything is under the sink. What have I done? Okay. Purple and yellow are complementary. Yeah, and OER is in like an hour 45 away from us. And I'm sure if I go to work on Thursday with half purple, half blonde hair, my boss is gonna be totally chill with that. He's gonna be like, right before OER gets here, that's great. At least 10 colors. Jeez. No, I'm a creature of habit. I'll pick one thing, and that'll be my staple. I might experiment or dilly-dally every once in a while, but, like, not generally. If I have a favorite something, I will stick with it, like, habitually. I know exactly my order for fucking everything. And it's not to say that I can't be talked into stuff, but, I mean, I've done every color under the rainbow. It's just purple and blonde are normally the staples. If I'm going to do something crazy, it's always going to be purple generally now. And if I'm not going to do something crazy, blonde. I'm going to dye it blonde. That's about it. And then that's down to fucking everything. Even the e-liquid. I have one flavor. I have one flavor, and I never vary from that. And I don't know why. It's just my favorite. It's my favorite. About the only exception is coffee. I will try any coffee. I switch my coffee up every single day. Today it's the Kitty Town coffee. Because I like it. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk anybody into any rash hair coloring decisions today. That was not the goal. Because Kitty Town. Because Kitty Town is the best town. Kitty Town. Okay. They make good coffee. Rafiki is to die for. That shit's delicious. Try it. Try it and tell me I'm wrong. That, and I just keep chopping it. Every time it grows a certain length, I'm like, no, it's in my ears, and then it can't be too long, or I'll start freaking out. To be fair, I didn't need talking that much into it anyway. I mean, you can dye it if you want. If you really need, like, just that one small amount of encouragement. You were already planning on doing it anyway. You know what I mean? So, I should have put lotion on before I got this light. I hate stepping out of a hot shower and then, okay. I know, it's getting a little long. I should have cut it before I bleached it because it's just on the cusp of, like, being in front of my eyes emo style, and I'm like, I should have cut it before I did this. Didn't think about it. I was only thinking about the content that I wanted to make. But speaking of content, I'm really excited because I just got some stuff that I've been wanting to try out for both Satan and Nyarlathotep for the Johannes cosplay, which is why I wanted to get back into Johannes to prep for this content that I wanted to reshoot. That I haven't tried before, and I haven't had the money to sort of like experiment around with it and find products that I like or stuff that I think will work for it. And this, it's some fun foundation colors. It's gonna be some fun stuff. I got a couple different brands that are coming in that I'm gonna be a whole gremlin about. So if you see me in the next couple of weeks coming in with different color faces, don't mind your business. Mind your business. I'm so excited. I gotta get a magistrate costume. I don't even know what to do with it. I either need a judge costume or a magistrate costume because I'm gonna do. It's gonna be for Nyarlathotep. You get it. It's gonna be Dreamlands content. It's my favorite content. Is Dreamlands. I'm so excited. Anyway, if you disappear, there's a storm there. Okay. What should we do if you don't come back? Should we send it? Oh, thank you. My shoulder is a lot better now. I've been slapping lidocaine on it every single day. It's been pretty much a variation of like very light yoga and then like oops all abs like all week. that's it. I'm just gonna move it a little bit, and then it's feeling a lot better, and which is saying something because I did still go to work. So I'm like trying to lift stuff, and I'm like struggling. Every once in a while, I'll like con someone else into lifting shit I'm supposed to do because I was like, "Hey Joe, can you get that? I gotta do this thing," and then I didn't have to do that thing. I just made that up so he would take it back there, and so it's a lot of conning myself out of shoulder intensive manual labor and slapping lidocaine on shit all week. So it's feeling a lot better. I can't sleep on it. That's my main thing, is I always sleep on my right side. And I haven't been able to do that for like the past week. So that's also like affecting what little sleep I do get. But it's getting better. It's getting a lot better. It doesn't twinge when I move it now, generally. It's only if I move it in certain positions or if I raise my right arm too high, it can go to about here, and then it feels like my shoulder just like kunk. So that's it. Yeah, I just con people into doing the shoulder intensive manual labor for me. It's been great. Send pawn pictures for emotional support. Sorry, I wanted to see if Diana responded. That was funny. But yeah, no, it's been okay. At a certain point, I'll be able to. I can push it, but I don't want to push it too hard, especially on stream. That'd be terrible. But like, I can go right about up to the level like where my shoulder meets, but I can't extend my arm above my head. That is the main thing. Unless I bend my elbow, I can't. Like this isn't. But otherwise, shoulder doesn't move past here. No, at least not right now. Maybe later. I'm hoping it'll be okay in the next week. Because I lift a lot of stuff at work, and I can't have it not. This one's fine. Only the right one. This one's not doing so hot. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be fine. I'm always fine. I injure myself habitually, and it's okay. All right. So we've taken a minor detour, and in the past few weeks because I got a new phone and I wanted to talk about it. Thank you for letting me talk about it. It looks so great now. And I have gotten the YouTube completely updated. So we should be up to date, which is crazy. And I'm really excited about that. So, if you didn't know and you haven't been following along because the YouTube hasn't been updated and you don't have my YouTube alerts to your phone, YouTube's been updated so you can go and find all the content you missed. All the live recordings should be updated. If there's a problem, let me know. I did speed through it really quick just to make sure it didn't look like it was glitching. And it didn't, but I didn't have time to watch through every single one. Also, I don't want to listen to myself talk for that long. I don't think I can handle that mentally. So, but to my knowledge, they've all been working out fine. If anybody knows different, let me know. But we're gonna move forward. Crazy concept. If you don't know, I don't normally just sit here and talk throughout the entire lives. I normally read you a bedtime story because that's what's fun for me. I like reading to people, and some people like listening. So, we've been reading through the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. This is book 3. Sorry, it just hit me now. I'm like, we're on book 3. We've made it through 2 whole ones. And granted, we're kind of early on in the beginning here, and the chapter structure is a little bit questionable. Looking at you, Ransom Riggs. Anyway, and we're in the middle of chapter 3. Because the chapters are just so damn long, and I never know how to block any of them out, or what all I'm going to be able to get through in any given time period, because this only goes till 10, and I don't want people to miss content that have to go to bed early for work or school or activities or what have you. So we're going to see where we get. I'm going to just see where we get, because chapter 4 is also outrageously long. It's like 60 fucking pages long. So, that's a lot to cover. So, I think we will confidently get through the rest of chapter 3. But we definitely, I mean, absolutely, will not make it all the way through 4. Remember when, this is wild, but does anybody remember in the first book when we used to get through 2 chapters a night? 2 whole chapters. And that was back when the chapters were reasonable chapters. Between 15 and 20 pages long. It'd be okay. And now, this man is busting out 60-page long chapters on average. 40 to 60 page long chapters on average. Exactly. And I'm like, dude, slow down. Now I feel like we're going so slow. Anyway, but we have a lot to cover. I don't know if we'll make it through chapter 4. I can certainly start chapter 4. If you would like, we can stop at the beginning of chapter 4 and try and even out a little bit more and bullshit the rest of the time. I don't know. Get Diana to dye their hair? Who knows? Something. No, I'm joking. We won't talk Diana into that. But, we can rest and relax and recuperate if we hit chapter 4. If we want to steamroll into it, we can. It's completely up to you. I do this for you guys, mainly, and I'll do it. I'll start right now. Okay. I was gonna say that wouldn't be too hard. Nah, and that was a joke. You don't have to take me up on that. But I figure, if we try and stop at chapter 4, I know I can break chapter 4 into 2. Oh my gosh. It's so complicated to try and block out. I want to get the most content in any given time we do this, but I also don't like to start and stop in uneven areas. Well, for now, we're going to read the rest of chapter 3, and we're going to see what time it is where we end up at the end, okay? That's what we're going to do for now. I'll let you know if you need to get all the stuff ready, okay? Who's ready to go? Oh, and if you're wondering what you missed last time, we just been whittled down to Jacob, Emma, and Addison, the dog, and we're stuck in Devil's Acre, and Sharon was leading us, but then they decided that Sharon wasn't helpful enough, and decided to try and figure shit out on their own, and now they're in a weird hellscape with what looks like a slum with a bunch of drug addicts that are addicted to... Well, it's not conventional drugs, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take a sip of water. And now we're debating on how to cross a bridge. Good stuff. The bridge was narrow, arched in the middle, and built from marble so clean that even ash from the street seemed wary of trespassing on it. Addison stopped us just shy of the edge. "Wait, there's something here," he said, and we stood by nervously while he closed his eyes and sniffed the air like a clairvoyant reading a crystal ball. "We need to cross it now. We're exposed out here," Emma muttered, but Addison was elsewhere. Besides, it really didn't seem like we were in much danger. No one was on the bridge, nor was anyone guarding the barred gate on the other side. The top of the long white wall, where you might expect to see men posted with rifles and binoculars, was similarly empty. Other than its walls, the fortress's sole defense seemed to be the chasm that curved around it like a moat, at the bottom of which churned a boiling river that released the sulphurous green steam which hung all around us. The bridge was the only way across that I could see. "Still disappointed?" I asked Emma. "Downright insulted," she replied. "It's like they're not even trying to keep us out." "Yeah, that's what worries me." Addison gasped and his eyes sprang open. They shone electric. "What is it?" Emma said, breathless. "It's only the faintest of traces, but I'd know Balenciaga Wren's scent anywhere." "And the others?" Addison sniffed again. "There were more of our kind with her. I can't say who precisely, or how many. The trail goes quite muddy. Many peculiars have come this way recently, and I don't mean them," he said, looking banefully at the squatters behind us. "Their peculiar essence is weak, almost non-existent." "Then that woman we interrogated was telling the truth," I said. "This is where the whites bring their captives. Our friends were here." Ever since they'd been taken, an awful, suffocating hopelessness had been tightening around my heart, but its grip loosened now slightly. For the first time in hours, we were running on more than just hope and guesswork. We had tracked our friends across hostile territory all the way to the whites' doorstep. That, in itself, was a small victory, and it made me feel, if only for a moment, like anything was possible. What the "Then it's even stranger that no one's guarding this place," Emma said darkly. "I don't like this at all."
I don't either, I said, but I don't see any other way across. I might as well get it over with, said Addison. We'll come with you as far as we can, said Emma. I appreciate that, Addison replied, sounding somewhat less than extremely intrepid. The bridge could be sprinted across in under a minute, I guessed. But why run? Because, I thought, a line from Tolkien's materializing in my head. One does not simply walk into Mordor. We started across at a brisk pace, murmurs and muted laughs following us. I glanced back at the squatters, certain we were about to meet some grisly end. They were shifting around, angling for good views. All they needed was popcorn. I wanted to go back and pitch every last one into the boiling river. In a few days we'll have their drippings. I didn't know what that meant, and hoped I never would. The bridge steepened. An encroaching paranoia was making my heart beat double time. I felt sure something was about to swoop down, and we'd have nowhere to run. I felt like a mouse scurrying towards a trap. In whispers we reviewed our plan. Get Addison through the gate, then fall back to the shantytown and find somewhere unobtrusive to wait. If he hadn't returned within 3 hours, Emma and I would find a way in. We were coming to the crest of the bridge, beyond which I'd be able to see a small section of the downslope that till now had been hidden. And then the lamppost shouted, "Stop! Who goes there? None shall pass!" We stopped and gaped at them, stunned to realize they weren't lampposts at all, but desiccated heads impaled on long pikes. They were horrible, skin drawn and gray, tongues lolling, and yet, despite not being attached to throats, 3 of the heads had spoken to us. There were 8 altogether, mounted in pairs on either side of the bridge. Only Addison seemed unsurprised. "Don't tell me you've never seen a bridgehead," he said. "Go no further," said the head on the left. "Almost certain death awaits those who cross without permission." "Perhaps you should say certain death," said the head on the right. "Almost sounds wishy-washy." "We have permission," I said, improvising a lie. I'm a white, and I'm delivering these 2 captured peculiars to call." "No one told us," the head on the left said irritably. "Do they look captured to you, Richard?" said the one on the right. "I couldn't tell you," said the left. "Ravens pecked out my eyes weeks ago." "Yours too," said the right. "Pity." "He doesn't sound like any white I know," said the left. "What's your name, Sarah?" "Smith," I said. "Ha! We don't have a Smith," said the right. "I just joined up." "Nice try. No, I don't think we'll let you through." "And who's going to stop us?" I said. "Obviously not us," said the left. "We're just here to forebode." "And to inform," said the right. "Did you know I took a degree in museum studies? I never wanted to be a bridgehead." "No one wants to be a bridgehead," snapped the left. "No child grows up dreaming of becoming a bloody bridgehead, foreboding at people all day and having your eyes pecked out by ravens, but life doesn't always scatter roses at your feet, does it?" "Let's go," muttered Emma. "All they can do is natter at us." We ignored them and continued up the bridge, each head warning us in turn as we passed. "Step no further," shouted the 4th. "Continue at your peril," wailed the 5th. "I don't think they're listening," said the 6th. "Oh well," said the 7th airily. "Don't say we didn't warn you." The eighth only stuck out his fat green tongue at us. Then we were beyond them and cresting the bridge, and there it came to a sudden end, a yawning 20-foot gap in the place where stone should have been, and I nearly stepped onto it. Emma caught me as I reeled backwards, arms pinwheeling. "They didn't finish the damn bridge," I said, my cheeks flushing with adrenaline and embarrassment. I could hear the heads laughing at me, and behind them, the road squatters. If we'd been going at a run, we wouldn't have stopped in time and would have pitched right over the edge. "Are you all right?" Emma asked me. "I'm fine," I said. "But we're not. How are we supposed to get Addison across now?" "It is vexing," said Addison, pacing along the edge. "I don't suppose we could jump." "No chance," I said. "It'd be way too far, even at a full run, even with a pole vault." "Huh," said Emma. She looked behind us. "You just gave me an idea. I'll be right back." Addison and I watched as she marched down the bridge. At the first head she came to, she stopped, wrapped her hands around the pike it was impaled on, and pulled. The pike came out with ease. As the head protested loudly, she laid it on the ground, planted her foot on its face, and gave a mighty yank. The pike slid free of the head, which went rolling off down the bridge, howling with rage. Emma returned triumphant, stood the pike at the edge of the gap, and let it fall across with a loud metallic clang. Emma looked at it and frowned. "Well, it isn't London Bridge." 20 feet long by 1 inch wide and slightly bowed in the middle, it looked like something a circus acrobat might balance on. "Let's get a few more," I suggested. We ran back and forth, prying up pikes and laying them across the gap. The heads spat and swore and issued empty threats. When the last of them had been pried off and rolled away, we'd made a small metal bridge, roughly a foot wide, slippery with head goo and rattling in the ashy breeze. "For England," Addison said, and he shimmied haltingly onto the pikes. "For Miss Peregrine," I said, following him. "For the love of birds, just go," said Emma, and she stepped on behind me. Addison slowed us down badly. His little legs kept slipping between the pikes, which made the pikes roll like axles and gave me awful stomach flutters. I tried focusing on where to place my feet without seeing past them into the chasm, but it was impossible. The boiling river attracted my eyes like a magnet, and I found myself wondering whether we were high enough for the fall alone to kill me, or whether I'd survive long enough to feel myself cooking to death. Addison, meanwhile, had given up trying to walk altogether, and instead laid down, whereupon he began to push himself along the pikes like a slug. In this way we proceeded, inch by undignified inch, to just beyond the halfway point, and then my flutters sharpened and gave way to something else. A knot in my stomach that I'd come to know all too well. Hollow. I tried to say it aloud, but my mouth had gone dry. By the time I'd swallowed and got the word out, the feeling had multiplied tenfold. "What dreadful luck," Addison said. "Is it ahead of us or behind?" I couldn't tell right away and had to poke around the feeling for a moment before I could pin it down. "Jacob, ahead or behind?" Emma shouted in my ear. Ahead. My gut compass was certain, but it made no sense. The downward slope of the bridge was now visible all the way to the gate, and the whole length was deserted. There was nothing there. "I don't know," I said. "Then keep going," Emma replied. We were closer to the far side of the gap than the near. would be off the pikes faster if we continued forward. I shoved down my fear, bent and scooped up Addison, and started to run, slipping and wobbling on the unsteady pikes. The hollow felt close enough to touch, and I could hear it now, grunting towards us from some unseen place ahead. My eyes followed the sound to a spot in front of us, but below our feet. On the cutaway face of the bridge, where several tall, narrow apertures had been carved into the stone. There. The bridge was hollow, and a hollow was inside the bridge. Though its body would never fit through the openings in the stone, its tongues easily could. I'd made it across the pikes and onto solid bridge when I heard Emma cry out. I dropped Addison and spun to see her behind me, one of the hollow's tongues wrapped around her waist and whisking her into the air. She screamed my name and I screamed hers. The tongue flipped her upside down and shook her. She screamed again. There was no worse sound. Another of its tongues slapped the underside of the pikes, and our makeshift bridge went flying, clattering apart and plunging like matchsticks into the chasm below. Then the second tongue went for Addison, and the third punched me in the chest. I fell to the ground, the wind knocked out of me. While I struggled for breath, the tongue slithered around my waist and scooped me into the air. The other had Addison by his hind legs. In a moment, all three of us were dangling upside down. Blood rushed to my head, darkening my vision. I could hear Addison barking and nipping at the tongue. "Don't! It'll drop you!" I shouted, but he kept on. Emma was helpless, too. If she burned the tongue around her waist, the hollow would drop her. "Talk to it, Jacob," she shouted. "Make it stop." I twisted to see the narrow openings through which its tongues had squeezed. Its teeth gnawed at the stone slats. Its black eyes bulged hungrily. We hung like fruit on thick black vines, the chasm yawning below. I tried to speak its language. "Set us down," I shouted, but what came out was English. "Again," Addison said. I shut my eyes and imagined the hollow doing as I asked, then tried again. "Put us down on the bridge." More English. This wasn't the hollow I'd come to know, the one I'd communed with for hours while it was frozen in ice. This was a new one, a stranger, and my connection with it was thin and weak. It seemed to sense that I was fumbling for a key to its brain, and it hauled us suddenly upward, as if winding up to fling us into the chasm. I had to connect, somehow, now. "Stop!" I screamed, my throat raw, and this time, out came the guttural scratch of hollow-speak. We jolted to a stop in mid-air. For a moment, we just hung there, swinging like laundry in a breeze. My words had done something, but not enough. I'd merely confused it. "Can't breathe," Emma croaked. The tongue around her was squeezing too hard, and her face was turning purple. "Put us down on the bridge," I said, in hollow again, the words clawing at my throat as they came. Every burst of hollow speak felt like I was coughing up staples. The hollow made an uncertain rattle. For an optimistic moment, I thought it might actually do as I'd asked. Then it snapped me up and down as fast and hard as you'd shake out a towel. Everything blurred and briefly went black. When I came to, my tongue was numb, and I tasted blood. "Tell it to put us down," Addison was shouting. But now I could hardly speak at all. "I'm trying," I mumbled. I coughed, spitting out a mouthful of blood. "Put us down," I said in broken-tongued English. "Put us—" I stopped, reoriented my brain, took a breath. Put us down on the bridge, I said in crisp hollow speak. I repeated it 3 more times, hoping it might slip into some furrow of the hollow's reptilian brain. Put us down on the bridge. Put us down on the bridge. Put us down on the... It gave a sudden bone-rattling roar of frustration, pulled me to the opening in the bridge where it was imprisoned, and roared again, flecks of black spittle spraying my face. Then it hauled all 3 of us up and hurled us back the way we'd come. We tumbled through the air for what felt like far too long. We were falling now, I was sure of it, arcing downward to our doom, and then my shoulder connected with the hard stone of the bridge, and we slid and skidded all the way down its slope to the bottom. We were, miraculously, alive, banged up but conscious, our limbs still connected to our bodies. We'd tumbled down the smooth marble bridge, scattering the pile of heads at the bottom as we rolled to a stop. They were all around now, taunting us as we collected ourselves. "Welcome back," said the one nearest me. "We quite enjoyed your screams of terror. What powerful lungs you have." "Why didn't you tell us a hollow was hiding in the damn bridge?" I said, rocking myself up to a sitting position. Pains flared all over my body, from scraped hands, scuffed knees, and a throbbing shoulder that was likely dislocated. "Where's the fun in that? Surprises are much better." "Tickles must have taken a fancy to you," said another. "He chewed the legs off his last visitor." "That's nothing," said a head with a shiny hoop earring like a pirate. "Once I saw him tie a rope around a peculiar, lower him into the river for 5 minutes, then reel him up and eat him." "Peculiar al dente," the third said, impressed. "Our Tickles is a gourmand." Not quite ready to stand, I scooted over a few feet to Emma and Addison. While she sat rubbing her head, he tested his weight on an injured paw. "You okay?" I asked. "I knocked my head pretty good," Emma replied, wincing as she parted her hair to examine a trickle of blood. Addison held up a limp paw. "I fear it's broken. I don't suppose you could have asked the beast to set us down gently." "Very funny," I said. "Come to think of it, why didn't I just tell it to kill all the whites and rescue our friends, too?" "Actually, I was wondering the same thing," said Emma. "I'm joking." "Well, I'm not," she said. I dabbed at her wound with my shirt cuff. She drew a sharp breath and pushed my hand away. "What happened back there?" "I think the hollow understood me, but I couldn't make it obey. I didn't have a connection with that hollow like I did with the other one. That beast was dead, crushed under a bridge and probably drowned, and now I was a little sorry about it." "How did you connect with the first one?" asked Addison. I quickly recounted how I'd found it frozen in ice up to its eyeballs, and after a night spent in strangely intimate hand-to-top head communion, I had apparently managed to safe-crack some vital part of its neurology. "If you had no connection with the bridge hollow," said Addison, "why did it spare our lives?" "Maybe I confused it." "You need to get better at this," Emma said bluntly. "We have to get Addison across." Better? Better? What am I supposed to do? Take lessons? That thing will kill us the next time we get near it. We'll have to find another way across. Jacob, there is no other way. Emma raked a veil of mussed hair away from her face and held me with her eyes. You're the way. I was launching into a creaky rebuttal when I felt a sharp pain in my backside and leapt yelping to my feet. One of the heads had bitten me on the ass. Hey! I shouted, rubbing the spot. Stick us back on our pikes like you found us, vandal, it said. I punted it as hard as I could, and it tumbled away into the crowd of squatters. All the heads began to shout and curse us, rolling about grotesquely with the action of their jaws. I cursed back and kicked ash in their horrible leathery faces until they were all spitting and choking. And then something small and round came sailing through the air and hit me wetly in the back. A rotten apple. I spun to face the squatters. Who threw that? They laughed like stoners, low and snickering. Go back where you came from, one of them yelled. I was starting to think that wasn't a bad idea. How dare they? Addison snarled. Forget it, I said to him, my anger already fading. Let's just... How dare you? Addison shouted, livid, rising up to address them on hind legs. Are you not peculiar? Have you no shame? We're trying to help you. Give us a vial or get stuffed, said a ragged woman. Addison trembled with outrage. We're trying to help you, he said again. And here you are, while our people are being murdered, our loops torn out, root and branch, sleeping before the enemy's gate. You should be flinging yourselves at it. He pointed his wounded paw at them. You're all traitors, and I swear one day I shall see you dragged before the Council of Remembrance and punished. Okay, don't waste all your energy on them, Emma said, wobbling to her feet. Then a rotten head of cabbage bounced off her shoulder and fell splat to the ground. She lost it. All right, someone's going to get their face melted, she yelled, waving a flaming hand at the squatters. During Addison's speech, a group had been muttering in a conspiratorial huddle, and now they came forward holding blunt weapons. A sawed branch, a length of pipe, the scene was turning ugly fast. We're tired of you, a bruised man said in a lazy drawl. We're putting you in the river. I'd like to see that, Emma said. I wouldn't, I said. I think we should go. There were 6 of them, 3 of us, and we were in rough shape. Addison was limping, Emma had blood running down her face, and thanks to my injured shoulder, I could hardly lift my right arm. Aw, same, Jacob. Poor bastard. Anyway. Meanwhile, the men were spreading apart and closing in. They meant to drive us into the chasm. Emma looked back at the bridge and then at me. Come on. I know you can get us across. One more try. I can't, Em. I can't. I'm not messing around. And I wasn't. I didn't have it in me to control that hollow. Not yet, at least. And I knew it. If the boy says he can't do it, I'm not inclined to disbelieve him, Addison said. We must find another way out of this. Emma huffed. Like what? She looked at Addison. Can you run? She looked at me. Can you fight? The answer to both was no. I took her point. Our options were winnowing fast. At times like these, Addison said imperiously, my kind don't fight. We orate. Facing the men, he called out in a booming voice.
Fellow peculiars, be reasonable. Allow me a few words.
They paid him no attention. As they continued closing off our escape routes, we backed towards the bridge, Emma crafting the largest fireball she could muster, while Addison yammered about how the animals of the forest live in harmony, so why can't we?
Consider the simple hedgehog and his neighbor, the opossum. Do they waste their energy trying to throw one another into chasms when they face a common enemy, the winter? No!
He's gone completely crackers, Emma said. Shut your gob and bite one of them. I looked around for something to fight with. The only hard objects within reach were the heads. I picked one up by the last wisps of its hair. Is there any other way across? I shouted into its face. Quick, or I'm throwing you into the river.
Go to hell!
It spat and then snapped at me with its teeth. I flung it at the men, awkwardly, with my left arm. It fell short. I rooted around for another head, picked it up, and repeated my question. Sure there is, the head sneered. In the back of a Prizo van. Though if I were you, I'd take my chances with the bridge hollow. What's a Prizo van? Tell me or I'll fling you too. You're about to get hit by one, it replied, and then 3 gunshots rang out in the distance. Bam, bam, bam! Slow and measured, like a warning. Immediately, the men who'd been coming at us stopped, and everyone turned to look down the road. Half drawn through a cloud of swirling ash, something large and boxy was rumbling towards us. Then came the growl of a big engine downshifting, and out of the black appeared a truck. It was a modern machine of military issue, all rivets and reinforcements and tires, half a man high. The back was a windowless cube, and 2 flak-jacketed machine-gun-armed whites stood guard along in running boards. The moment it appeared, the squatters went into a kind of frenzy, laughing and gasping for joy, waving their arms and clasping their hands like marooned shipwreck survivors flagging down a passing plane. And just like that, we were forgotten. A golden opportunity had smacked into us, and we weren't about to waste it. I tossed aside the head, scooped Addison into the crook of my left arm, and scrambled out of the road after Emma. We could have kept going, cut away from Smoking Street, and retreated to some safer quarter of Devil's Acre. But here, finally, was our enemy in the flesh, and whatever was happening or about to happen was clearly of importance. We stopped not far off the roadside, barely hidden behind a knot of charred trees, and watched. The truck slowed and the crowd swarmed it, groveling and begging. For vials, for Suli, for Ambro, and just a taste, just a little, please, sir. Disgusting in their worship of these butchers, pawing at the soldiers' clothes and shoes, and getting steel-toed kicks in return. I thought surely the whites would start shooting, or gun the engine and crush those foolish enough to stand between them and the bridge. Instead, the truck stopped, and the whites began to shout instructions. Form a line right over here, keep orderly, or you'll get nothing. The crowd fell into formation, like destitutes in a bread line, cowed and fidgeting in anticipation of what they were about to receive. Without warning, Addison began to struggle to be set down. I asked him what was the matter, but he only whimpered and struggled harder, a desperate look on his face, like he'd just caught a major scent trail. Emma pinched him, and he snapped out of it long enough to say, it's her, it's Miss Wren. And I realized that Prizo van was short for prison van, and that the cargo in the back of the white's enormous vehicle was almost certainly human. Then Addison bit me. I yelped and let him go. and in an instant he was scrambling away. Emma swore, and I said, "Addison, don't!" But it was useless. He was operating on instinct, the irrepressible reflex of a loyal dog trying to protect his master. I dove for him and missed. He was surprisingly speedy for a creature with just 3 working legs. And then Emma hauled me up, and together we were after him, out of our hiding place and into the road. There was a moment, a fleeting instant, when I thought we could catch him, that the soldiers were too mobbed and the crowd too preoccupied to notice us. And it might have happened, but for the shift that came over Emma halfway across the road when she spied the doors at the back of the truck. Doors with locks that could be melted. Doors that could be flung open, she must have thought. I could read it in the hope dawning on her face, and she passed Addison without even reaching for him and clambered onto the truck's bumper. Shouts from the guards. I grabbed for Addison, but he slid away under the truck. Emma was starting to melt the handle of one door when the first guard swung his gun like a baseball bat. It hit her in the side and she tumbled to the ground. I ran at the guard, ready to do to him whatever I could with my one good arm, but my legs were kicked out from under me and I crashed down onto my hurt shoulder, a thunderbolt of pain surging through me. Hearing the guard scream, I looked up, saw him unarmed and waving an injured hand, and then he was tripping away into the mad swim of churning bodies. The squatters swarmed him, not just begging, but demanding, threatening, crazed, and now, somewhere, one of them had his weapon. Looking panicked, he waved to the other white with 2 hands over the head. "Get me out of here!" I struggled to my feet and ran for Emma. The other guard dove into the crowd, firing into the air until he could pull out his comrade and get back to the truck. The moment their feet hit the running boards, they slapped the side of the truck and the engine roared. I reached Emma just as it took off for the bridge, its monster tires spitting gravel and ash. I clasped her arm to reassure myself she was still whole. "You're bleeding," I said. "A lot," which was a clunky statement of fact, but also the best I could articulate how awful it felt to see her hurt, limping, a gash on her scalp, leaking blood into her hair. Where's Addison?" she said, but before "I don't know" had left my lips, she interrupted, "We've got to go after it. This may be our only chance." We looked up as the truck was reaching the bridge and saw the guard gun down 2 squatters chasing after it. As they fell writhing to the dirt, I knew she was wrong. There was no chasing down the truck, no getting across the bridge. It was hopeless, and now the squatters knew it. As their comrades fell, I could feel their desperation turn to rage, and in what seemed an instant, that rage turned on us. We tried to run, but found ourselves blocked on all sides. The mob was shouting that we'd ruined it, that they'd cut us off now, that we deserved to die. Blows started raining down on us, slaps, punches, hands tearing at our hair and clothes. I tried to protect Emma, but she ended up protecting me, for a few moments at least, swinging her hands around, burning whomever she could. Even her fire wasn't enough to get them away from us, and the hits kept coming until we were on our knees, then balled up on the ground, arms protecting our faces, pain coming from every direction. I was almost sure I was dying, or dreaming, because I heard at that moment singing a loud, peppy chorus of "Hark to the driving of hammers, hark to the driving of nails," but with each line came a smattering of fleshy thuds and corresponding yelps. "What smack to build a gallows, the thwack for all that ails." And a few lines and a few thwacks, the blows stopped raining down, and the mob backed away, worrying, grumbling. I saw dimly through a haze of blood and grit 5 brawny gallows riggers, tool belts hung from their waists and hammers raised in their hands. They'd cut a wedge through the crowd, and now they circled us, looking down doubtfully, as if we were some strange species of fish they hadn't been expecting to find in their nets.
"Is this them?" I heard one of them say. "They don't look so good, cousin."
"Of course it's them," said another, his voice like a foghorn, deep and familiar. "It's Sharon," Emma cried. I could move my hand just enough to wipe one eye clear of blood. There he stood, all 7 black-cloaked feet of him. I felt myself laugh, or try to. I'd never been so glad to see someone so ugly. He was digging something out of his pocket, little glass vials, and raised them above his head, shouting,
"I've got what you want right here, you sick monkeys. Go take them and leave these children be."
He turned and threw the vials down the road. The mob flooded after them, gasping and shouting, ready to tear one another apart to get them. And then it was just the riggers, slightly rumpled from their melee, but unscathed, tucking their hammers back into their belts. Sharon, striding towards us, with one snow-white hand outstretched, was saying, "What were you thinking, wandering off like that? I was worried sick." "It's true," said one of the riggers. "He was beside himself, had us looking everywhere for you." I tried sitting up, but couldn't. Sharon was right over top of us, peering down like he was examining roadkill.
"Are you whole? Can you walk? What in the devil's name have these reprobates done to you?"
His tone was somewhere between angry drill sergeant and concerned father. "Jacob's hurt," I heard Emma say, her voice cracking. "So are you," I tried to say, but couldn't get my tongue straight. It seemed she was right. My head felt heavy as stone, and my vision was a failing satellite signal, good one moment, gone the next. I was being lifted, carried in Sharon's arms. He was much stronger than he looked, and I had a sudden flashing thought, which I tried to say aloud. "Where's Addison?" It was all mush-mouthed, but somehow he understood me, and turning my head toward the bridge, he said, "There." In the distance, the truck seemed to be floating in midair. Was my concussed brain playing tricks? No, I could see it now. The truck was being lifted across the gap by the hollow's tongues. "But where's Addison?" "There," Sharon repeated. "Underneath." 2 hind legs and a small brown body dangled from the truck's underside. Addison had clamped onto some part of its undercarriage with his teeth and caught a ride, the clever devil. And as the tongues deposited the truck on the far side of the bridge, I thought, "Godspeed, intrepid little dog. You may be the best hope we've got." And then I was fading, the world irising toward night. And that is the end of chapter 3. And it is 10 minutes after 9. So we still have like a good chunk of time. Oh. What is that? What is that? What is happening to me? Okay. I don't know where that other bookmark went. No, but
But where'd the sword go? I had a sword. I had a sword bookmark. I know I had a sword. I don't know where my sword went. Where'd my sword bookmark go? I just had it. I had it when I started this because I had 2 bookmarks on this book. One where I was re-recording it back before I replaced this phone that I didn't take out. Bookmark. I was like, no, it has to be here. I started out with the bookmark. Okay. Funny story, both bookmarks are gifts. This one was always good. That one's from Diana, and then this one's from Ray, and I alternate bookmarks. Okay, put the bookmark in the book. Okay. Before I lose it in this blanket again. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's the end of chapter 3. We still have a good chunk of time. I am going to take a break though, so... If we wanted to... Stop. There we go. Okay. Switch is charging. I was like, we could either stop at chapter 3 or we could go right on into chapter 4. But I was like, we could always split chapter 4 into 2 anyway, and I don't know how far we'll get. But I was like, if we stop at chapter 3, we'll figure out something else to do. Diana can dye their hair. And like, they were like, I'll do it. And I was like, wait. So now we're looking at like a time window of like 40 minutes. Yes! I dyed my hair. You're gonna dye your hair. We all gonna dye our hair. This is the hair dye stream. It's not, that should not be what this is. I don't know, I like the blonde, and I don't think I have enough purple to do anything. I would have to tone it, at any rate. I don't have a whole lot of toner, but I do have some toner. But we're in good shape if we wanted to pick up on chapter 4. And all the voices, in all reality, I was like, I'm gonna do this bit. I'm gonna do this bit for the people. With the talking heads, and I was like, that's so many voices in such a small amount of time, and I'm gonna wreck my whole throat. And I knew I was gonna. I'm so scratchy right now. Hold on. You know that one voice makes me feel like if, like, you could physically, like, reach to scratch the inside of your throat. That's what that voice makes me feel like I need to do after I finish doing it. And not only is that not physically possible, join the Navy. I knew I was going to do that, but I wanted to do the bit. It was like, it was partially a Monty Python tribute and partially... I don't know how well that came off on the recording, but that was fun. And then, partially... I just wanted to do the bit, and I was like, I want to do it. And I was like, there's 8 heads. There's 8 heads, and there's 8 separate voices, and 2 of them are like a very strenuous bit to do. And I was like, I gotta do the bit. This is, if I did all those voices seriously, in all seriousness, it would be like a really, like, it would be such a bummer of a chapter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that chapter from start to finish is just like the most depressing slum imaginable. Outright just abandonment terror. And then getting ambushed by a bunch of squatters. And so if you did all that seriously, that would be such a bummer of a chapter. And I was like, I'm going to do the bit. People gotta laugh. Yes. So it was partially like... I was like, this has got to be like the palate cleanser. We could do cat facts. Anyway, but it was partially like, he'll be this little funny bit in the middle of it. Like, that way it won't be so... Anyway, that was my idea. I don't know how well that worked. Yes, I'm glad. Glad you know all my inspiration for things because you know exactly the sort of bullshit that I watch. uh, anyway, I had to do the voice. No. I'm so glad that that was at least entertaining to exactly one person who immediately was like, thank you for the... My voice is so scratchy. I'm going to do my best Monty Python impression now, and I know I can't. I'm going to hurt myself. Hold on. Also know I want to vape. And that does not help the throat. I also should have got more caffeine before this, and I haven't drank hardly any of that. I can't, especially like... well, like, especially after being on HRT for... like so long, like I can't do voices that I used to be able to do, and it hurts me physically and also emotionally because I can't do them anymore. And I used to have a really great Valley Girl impression that I also cannot do anymore, and I can't do it. And I used to be able to, and it bothers me. So I keep trying to do it. I keep pitching my voice up all the time because it's what I'm used to doing. And then that also just normally... because, like, if I'm relaxed and I'm talking, this is how I'm talking. But I almost unconsciously pitch my voice up every single time. So it strains my voice to talk like that. And it actually hurts a lot. And then I won't notice it unless I talk for a very long time, that I'm not relaxing my throat while I'm talking, and so I'm just unconsciously pitching my voice up all the time, and then I don't notice it. And if I've been talking for a really long time, I'm like, why's my throat hurt? Why that hurt though? It's primary fun, and then I'm like, because you're not relaxing when you're talking. I don't relax when I talk. I have to pitch everything up so that and then that inherently just hurts. And then why do I do that? I don't know. Oh my god. It's not. It's just such a like unconscious thing that I do all the time. That I'm like, you should relax. You can relax and like talk, and your throat won't hurt at the end of the day. And that's another thing. Is like I would do that, and then I would get jokes because like a lot of people know I'm on HRT, and I know they're not like at my expense. That is not what I'm arguing. But I would talk at the comfortable level, and then people would be like, "Hey, Morgan Freeman," and I'm like, "Fucking jackass." I'm like, that's just how I talk now. I don't think you understand. That's just how I talk now. And it would, like, they don't intend it to be hurtful. And it's not that I inherently find it, like, necessarily hurtful. It just, like, I'm like, can I just live my life for 5 minutes? And you don't have to comment on it. You don't have to say things.
You could just not say anything. You know that's like an option, right? People just be saying whatever pops up in their head. Aw, that's so cute. Look at the little cat. Yeah, I was like, you could just not, you could just hear and see things and like not have to comment on it every single day of your life. You can do that, trust me. Oh, yeah. I can't sing along to any of my favorite songs now. Cannot do it. It does not work. I will not happen. I just wreck my whole shit now. And and that's like I'll actively hurt myself if I try and sing along to any song that I like. Especially because when I sing, I also try to unconsciously pitch my range up, and I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. It just hurts. And there's like no range at all. That the worst. That's my vent system. I'm glad that singing was never like a big priority for me, because otherwise I would be gutted. Gutted. But I don't normally sing anyway. Even when I like listen to music in the car, I'm more likely to just like bop if I do anything. I like headbanging music when I'm driving for long periods of time, like really heavy rock or metal. I'll headbang a lot, but I don't normally sing anyway. But when I do sing, or like I do, nothing doesn't. But that wasn't nearly so much as like when my voice started changing and then people started commenting on it relentlessly. So then like I just started pitching myself up so I sounded a little bit more like how I used to sound. But this is also kind of like strains my voice like a whole lot. And since I got so used to doing it after I started getting a lot of comments from people when my voice started changing, now it's like I'm stuck in this mode and I can't relax. And then when I do relax, people are like, hey, what's up, Morgan Freeman? And I'm like, fuck you, dog. They're like, your voice is so deep now. What'd you say? I don't even know what you said anymore. And I'm like, the one person was like, hey, do that Corpse song. And I was like, fuck you, dog. Get out of here. Get out of here. You don't look like a horse girl. I've met horse girls. My cousin's a horse girl. You're not a horse girl. I don't know. I wouldn't peg you as a horse girl. Unless I've seen the shit you normally wear. I don't know where people are getting horse girl. Or was this when you used to dress differently or something and you used to dress like a horse girl? Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I'm like, I know what you look like now and you don't look like a horse girl. I guess in high school if you dressed a whole lot different, people would be like, oh, that's a horse girl. Amazing how stereotypes and shit work. Oh my god, my throat. Should have fully exhaled before I talked. Oh my god. Sure, yeah. If we're going that route, I'll take it. Because once again, my cousin's a horse girl. She also sells real estate. She's a bottle blonde who sells real estate.
I can't with Dad. I was a horse girl once, but then I took an arrow to the knee. Sorry, Why? Why with the Skyrim jokes? Every week, we get to bring up Skyrim without fail. It's a cult classic at this point. No, mandatory Skyrim joke. That's gonna be a running bit. We have too many inside jokes. This has become such an insular community because of all the inside jokes. No one would understand. Why is everybody spamming twos? Why is there a mandatory Skyrim joke? What is happening? Oh man, I dig it. This is fun. I wonder how well I got the back. I can't see it. I can't tell. Yeah, I'm bypassing. I'm like, no new friends. No, it's like, yeah, like, a lot of the time I won't post the closer it is to Tuesday because I'm scared my account will grow, but I want to post content. I'm like, I want to let this loose on the internet, and then, like, blah, 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 and then, and then someone new will follow me, and I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I also have that weird dichotomy where it's just like, I would like other people to see this thing I did because I'm really proud of it, and then I post it, and then someone likes it, and then I'm like, oh no, what are you doing? Why would you do that? No one like it. I'm gonna take it down. That's my thing. Is every single time, even if it's one of you guys, I'm like, no, why? Don't like that. You don't know how bad it is. I could do it better. Immediately after posting, I feel differently. I'm like, no, I'm not proud of it anymore. I could have done better. This could have been done better. I know what I did. I'm like, fuck. Oh, man. I wonder what would happen if I ever actually tried to grow this account. No one would be able to understand what was happening at all with any reliability because of how long we've been doing this bullshit. I love it when people come back after a couple months and they're like, hey, I've been gone for a while, but I'm back now. What'd I miss? And everybody's like, they're like, what the fuck is going on? And they walk into back like the shit storm of chaos that culminates with this group every single fucking week. Wild. And I'm about to really get started on some new cosplay stuff. So I'm like really excited, but that also means that I'm probably also going to have more people coming in here being like, what the fuck is this? So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We'll have a bunch of confused people joining. Oh, good night, Lady Eva. We get to do cat facts, and then Dad's gonna come over, I think, because I don't think we'll get very far in the next chapter with how fucked up my throat's gonna be. And no one's gonna understand cat facts. No one's gonna understand why we every single week open this fat book of cat facts. I'll do cat facts right now just so you get to it before you have to go. Every single time. I'll make space for you, Lady Eva. If you gotta go, we're gonna do cat facts right before you leave so that way you at least get it before you have to go. We know you're busy. You're an adult with a life. And we'll respect that. Okay. And we're talking about safety with cats outdoors. Anyway, so we're doing that this week. The not so great outdoors. What's waiting for your cat just outside your front door? Yes, there are trees and grass and all the sights, sounds, smells, and joys of nature.
Good things for all of us to savor, but there are also vicious animals, cruel people, traffic, disease, and animal control officers who may be within their legal right to grab and impound your cat if he steps off your property. The only reliable way to keep your cat safe from all of these deadly hazards is to keep him indoors. Truth be told, country cats aren't necessarily safer outdoors than city cats. Sure, there's a lot more chance of being hit by a car or mauled by a stray dog in the city, but out in the country, we've got some predators that run bigger, quicker, and savvier than a feral city dog. We've also got less light on the roads, making strays harder to see, the easier to hit, and usually more kinds of disease-bearing insects such as ticks. A whole host of serious and fatal feline diseases need contact with infected cats, or areas where infected cats hang out a lot, to spread. Feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV, which causes a breakdown in the cat's disease-fighting immune system, is mostly passed by bites from infected cats, and feline leukemia virus generally requires prolonged close contact with an infected cat, such as sharing litter boxes or food and water bowls, or mutual grooming. Time and again, the risks for disease are minor or negligible for indoor cats, significantly higher for outdoor or indoor-outdoor cats. Cat owners, especially those with young children, should be particularly aware that outdoor cats are more likely to pick up diseases and parasites that can affect humans, from minor annoyances like fleas to more serious illnesses like Lyme tick disease to extremely dangerous conditions like rabies. And there's your cat fact for the night, Lady Eva. Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate you. I appreciate you the most as a mod. All my mods are the best mods. I have the best mods. Thank you. Thank you for everybody that keep you safe from trolls. That's why I will always do cat facts for y'all if y'all gotta leave early, because you dedicate so much time to making my Discord and these lives a good, safe experience for everybody involved, and you all keep the weird Trump people and anti-trans people out of my comments, so sick. Thank you. Want anything from the gas station? No. I can't think of anything that I would want from the gas station. I never... Sure, yes. If this isn't a Best Jeanist cosplay waiting to happen, sorry, for a hot second I was like, wait. I have so many more cosplay ideas because I can sink money into it, and it's going to be a fun time. You don't know how excited I am. I can shoot more content. Anyway. Oh no. Anyway. I don't know if I have the energy to make a whole gene operation. If they have, see if they have the Alani ones, the purple, the Cosmic Stardust. If they don't, get a Ghost, the lemon kind, the lemon heads one, or a Rain, the lemon heads one. If you can't find any of those, dealer's choice. Make your best bet, and I'll appreciate it all the same. I appreciate it. Would that be it?
I don't know if I can make my hair do that. I don't know if I can make my hair do that. Oh my god. I could do Monoma. Yeah, I could do Monoma. Monoma scares me, but I could do Monoma. I'd get exhausted after 30 minutes. If I shot anything as Monoma, I would be tanked for the rest of the day, but it might be worth it. So fun. That would be so draining to do for me, personally. I don't know if I could handle it, but I could try. Best Jeanist would be like the closest I could do. I'm like, I like Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist is pretty chill. I could shoot content as Best Jeanist and come out of it not that bad. Monoma, I'd scare myself. Oh my god, Tamaki would be the most exhausting fucking person to fucking cosplay ever. You shoot 3 videos and you're wiped out mentally and emotionally for the rest of the day. At least I would be. I'd be like, I'm tired. I could go lay down. I'm gonna go hide in the closet. I'm gonna go crawl inside the lower half of the closet where nobody can find me, make a little fort, and pass out for 3 to 4 business days. I just can't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. I thought about doing, oh my god, I can't remember anybody's name from Oron right now. Kyoya? I have glasses. No, the twins are exhausting. Almost every single character in that fucking entire show gives me anxiety. The only ones who don't are Kyoya and Mori. That's it. That was like, I could do Kyoya. I have the glasses already. The cat guy from the adjacent room, also exhausting. He'd just be screaming all the time. I gotta do one character that doesn't scream all the time. Whatever character that screams the least requires me to like not have to jump around like an idiot for like 5 hours. That's so tiring. Yeah, Haruhi is pretty chill. I could do Haruhi. Or Mori. That's not... What? Who? Drink! That was good. Sorry. For a second I was like, what character are you talking about? Do they have any other flavors other than orange dreamsicle? I'm not a huge orange person. My vitamins are orange, and now I hate orange. What acting skills? I don't have any acting skills. Can we talk about that for a second? Because I feel very... Look, I know I shit on theater kids, and I'm like, I can do that because I used to be a theater kid. I don't want you walking away with any misconceptions of my theater kid experience, okay? I went into theater to be in the crow's nest. I was pretty much talked into and forced to going on stage. I didn't want to be there. I was like, I don't have any fucking act. I don't do this. This isn't me. Get raspberry. I will try that. No. Survived is a strong word. The thing is that the only reason I survived high school was because I was so intimidating to the point where people thought that I was going to, like, perform a act of domestic terrorism on the school. That is the only reason I survived. Funny story. My manager the other day did the weirdest thing that like triggered me so weirdly back to high school, because I remember a kid in high school that was like giving me a Snickers, and like he like gave me a Snickers and implied that if I ever did something to the school that like maybe he wouldn't be on the list, haha, joke joke. And my manager did the same thing recently. Like just the other day. There's a new coworker. There was a new manager in training that had said something to me that I was like, it was so overly familiar and strange that I was just like, what did you say to me? And she like stopped and she was like, I said, hey pimp, how's it going? And I was like, it would be going a lot better if you had never said that. And then I walked away, and then my other manager, they were telling, like, my other manager, who's been my manager for a while, what I had said, and, like, my manager had made a joke, and then I was leaving, and I heard my name, and I don't even know what the joke was. But, like, we locked eyes across the room, and I saw her, like, kind of smile, laugh, and then immediately, like, and I just, like, kind of looked at her for a second because I didn't understand fully what was happening. I just knew that I heard my name, and then we locked eyes, and she was smiley laughing, and then all of a sudden her face dropped, and I was like, is that bitch talking about me? And I didn't really care, so I left. I didn't say anything. And then the next day, I was in the office. I had just clocked in, and, like, I was in the office for a second, talking to my GM, and then this manager came in and was like, hey, I'm so glad you're here, and, like, shut the door, so it's just me, my GM, and my manager in the office. And it was like, I just want you to know that if I made you feel uncomfortable in any way, that I just want, I didn't want there to be any hard feeling. I made a joke, but I feel like you took it the wrong way, and I just want to reiterate that it wasn't at your expense. I would never do that. The thing is like, she's new, Ash is new, and it was just a misunderstanding, and, she's been getting sort of comfortable here, and she's been here for a couple weeks, so she doesn't, and she thought that maybe you did not like her, so I was making a joke that you don't like anyone. Anyway, the thing is I just don't want anybody to misconstrue what... Don't be mad at me. And I was, like, just staring at her because I did not know what to say because I actually had no idea what joke was made. So I was just staring at her, and she was like, anyway, so, I saw this bag of Skittles, and, anyway, here you go. You like Skittles, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, here's this bag of Skittles. And then hands me this bag of Skittles. And my GM is, like, at the computer, just, like, paused, frozen, looking at the screen. Like, he feels so awkward. He is not turned around the entire time or said anything to either one of us. And then fucking Mallory leaves after giving me this bag of Skittles and closes the door. And Duff turns around and he goes, what was that about? And I was like, I have no idea, but I just got a free bag of fucking Skittles. And he was like, and I left. And I was... And I legit had the same flashback because I had the same exact energy as when I was in high school and that kid gave me the Snickers. And I was like, what have I done? I just want to go to work and collect a paycheck. That's all I wanted to do. And then I didn't know what to do because I like sweets decently in moderation, but this was like a family fucking industrial size bag of Skittles. It's like poof, big. And they're Pride Skittles, so they're all gray. Like, all of them are like this grayish white color, and it's like, we took the rainbow to give the stories to the, capitalist performative act of, brand dealing for companies now. Anyway, so I don't know what any of the flavors are. Thanks, Skittles.
Could have just kept the rainbow so I'd know what flavor I'm eating. Anyway, whatever. Gay, right here, telling you we liked the rainbow. No, I just like... So I didn't know what to do with this huge, hellacious bag of Skittles that I'm never going to finish eating all by myself. And I just brought it home, and I was like, hey, Dave, you like Skittles. You like sweet stuff more than me. You want some of these Skittles? And he was like, why do you have a whole bag of Skittles? And I was like, well, I didn't want to leave them in the car. They like melt together. Be the rainbow. Exactly. Anyway. So now I just have a giant bag of Skittles. Once again, I didn't do anything. I don't know what I did. All I did was make meaningful eye contact, and then, like, that was it. That was it. Literally, I barely said, like, 3 sentences in this entire interaction. And they've told themselves a story that now they're like, we gotta give this guy rainbow Skittles. The Pride Skittles? We get him the Pride Skittles. And then he won't kill us. Like, what was that? Duffy had no idea what to do. He was just sitting in front of the computer, like... And then the minute she left, he was like, what was that? I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I have no fucking clue what just happened. But I haven't been called pimp since, so... I don't know why that would be what you call somebody that you've known for under 2 weeks. Especially when they have not said, I've not said, but I know exactly how many sentences I've said to this person, to this new manager, and it has basically boiled down to, did you knit this? Because they had knit themselves a purse, and I was like, is this knitted or crocheted? And they were like, oh, I crocheted that. And I was like, thank you for the information. And then I left. That was it. We have had no friendly interaction other than, but that interaction, and it wasn't even friendly, it was transactional. And then you want to come and call me pimp 2 days later? Weird as fuck, dude. Weird as fuck. All of my coworkers are crazy. None of them are, they're all wrong. I don't know, they're not wrong in the same way that I'm wrong, though, is the thing, is we're wrong in different directions. And it's just not working out. Dad's here, and we gotta go move, because we're gonna go on stream. So we're gonna play Death's Door, I think. We're gonna play Death's Door, so we're gonna move to the Discord, and then we're gonna play New Game, courtesy of Diana. So we're gonna do that, and I'll see you guys next week when we read chapter 4. Yes! All caps. Yes! Alright. I will see you guys next week. If I could end this, it's not doing nothing. Oh my god, Pretty Crow Game.